Hello students, today in this module I am going to discuss the topic organism and its environment. So before starting the topic we should know the meaning of few terms like habitat and niche. So let's begin with the term habitat. See, habitat refers to the natural environment where an organism is living. Okay, so means the home of the organism is known as the habitat. It is the natural environment where the organism is surviving. Okay, now habitat contain many ecological niches and it support a variety of species. It can happen that in a habitat there may be present many variety of the species, not a single species, but many different varieties of the species can be supported by a single habitat. Now the keystone species is the non-dominant species. Okay, the non-dominant species which is present in a particular habitat, which is maintaining the characteristics and the structure, that will be as a control biological component, and that species will be known as the keystone species. So by the term habitat we mean is that the home of a particular organism is known as the habitat, and habitat can support more than one ecologically niche, and it can support many variety of species. Okay, now what is this term niche? See, niche is a bigger term. It is an ecological niche of an organism. It is representing the range of conditions that the organism can tolerate and its resources that it is using and the role in the environment. So not just the home of the organism, but actually the niche contains the resources which the organism is using, the conditions in which the organism is present, okay, and the functional role of that organism in a particular habitat. Okay, so that all together is making a niche. So we can say that niche is unique to every species. Okay, and every organism, every species occupies a distinct niche. No two species can have the same niche, because every organism is experiencing different type of the conditions, and the resources which are used by different organisms are different. Okay, so niche is quite unique for each and every species. So by these two terms, habitat and niche, we can say that habitat is the home of the organism while niche is its profession. Okay, now let us discuss some of the environmental factors. See, the habitat, where habitat means the home of the organism where the organism is surviving, and the organism is affected by many factors. Okay, that can be biotic and that can be abiotic. Biotic factors means the living factors, okay, now that have life, maybe some other organism. Okay, and abiotic factors refers to the non-living factors. Okay, so let us discuss some of the major abiotic factors. The very first abiotic factor is the temperature. It is one of the most important component and one of the most important abiotic factor. Okay, temperature means the degree of hotness or coldness in a particular environment. Okay, so the temperature which is present at a particular habitat, that is the temperature which is experienced by the organism. Okay, and that is an important factor. Now we know that the temperature decreases from the equator towards the poles and from the plain towards the mountain. So on the basis of that, on the basis of the temperature, the vegetation of the whole world is divided into four major groups. The first is the megatherms. Megatherms include those plants which are growing at a very high temperature throughout the year. Means the plants which are experiencing a very high temperature throughout the year, that are known as the megatherms, like the plants which are present in the tropical rainforest. Mesotherms involve those plants which are growing in alternate high and low temperature. Means few times they are having high temperature and after some time they are having the low temperature, so they are experiencing both. Okay, like the deciduous vegetation. Third one is known as the microtherms. Microtherms means those plants which are growing at a very low temperature. Okay, like conifers, they are growing at the low temperature. And He Schistotherms are those plants which are growing at a very low temperature, like alpine vegetation. It refers to very low temperature, means near to 0 degrees Celsius, and it can go below that as well. Okay, so there are different type of the vegetation on the basis of the temperature. Okay, now same is for the animals also. Animals also experience different type of the temperatures. Let us divide them into two groups. One is the euthermal and the other one are the stenothermals. Euthermals are those organisms which are tolerating a very wide range of the temperature. They keep on changing their body temperature constantly. Okay, and in a particular environmental conditions, they are experiencing many different range of the temperatures. Like man and birds, like we humans, we experience different type of the temperatures. We experience winter, summer, rainy season, and extreme temperatures also we can tolerate to a some extent. Okay, similarly birds also experience that. So we are the euthermal organisms. Stenothermal are those organisms which lie in a very narrow range, means they can tolerate very narrow range of the temperature. Okay, because their requirement of nearly constant temperature throughout the year, means they are needing the same type of the temperature throughout the year. They are lying within a very narrow range of the temperature, as their requirements are like that. Okay, like reptiles, amphibians, fishes. Okay, these are the organisms which are lying within the narrow range of the temperature. Okay, so temperature is the first abiotic factor and it is one of the important component. Next is water. Now next to temperature comes the water. It is also an important factor. We know that water is an important component of the protoplasm. Okay, and being used as a general solvent, as a reactant, as a metabolic byproduct, and as a essential material for maintaining the turgidity for every organism. See, water is something which is very much necessary. Every organism is having water in it. Okay, every cell is having water in it. So water is also an important component. Fine. Next is the light. Light is the visible part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, it is acting as a biological factor, as it is affecting different physiological processes of the plants. Like photosynthesis is affected by light, transpiration, movements, flowering, all these kind of the movements in the plants are affected by the light. Okay, now if I talk about the aquatic habitats. Okay, now they are having different light zones. Okay, light zonation in the deep lakes and oceans is like this. We can call it as the littoral zone or the limnatic zone. Littoral zone is the shallow coastal region in which light is able to pass through shallow water and touch the bottom. Okay, so light here is able to pass through the shallow water and it is able to touch the bottom. Such kind of the zone is known as the littoral zone. And then limnatic zone is the open water zone, where the water is very deep. Light can penetrate the upper part but can't go very deep in the water. Okay, and it is the places where some algal vegetation flourish. Okay, so it is open water zone. Water is very deep here. Okay, and light is penetrating only the upper part. Fine. So both the zones, I hope they are clear. Next type of the zone is the euphotic zone. Here it receives the light more than the compensation point of photosynthesis. Means it is, you can say it is the upper zone where the light is present, more light is present, and it can be doing the process of the photosynthesis. Okay, then dysphotic zone is, it is a zone which is receiving the light at or below the compensation of the photosynthesis. Means it may be appropriate or it may be below for the process of the photosynthesis. Profundal zone is the zone of the deep water. Okay, that is below the photic zone and above the bottom zone. Okay, and here light does not penetrate, so no producers are here, only consumers are present. So it is that part of the oceans and the seas where light cannot go beyond and light is not penetrating, and this zone don't have light rays. Okay, so photosynthesis can't take place here and producers are not present here, only consumers are there. Then is the benthic zone. Benthic zone means the deepest part of the lake. Okay, here microorganisms and other benthic organisms are found. Here also light is not present, so no penetration of light is there, it is completely dark zone. Next important factor is the soil. We know that soil is the upper weathered humus containing part of the earth's surface. Okay, and it is containing many terrestrial plant life over here. Okay, and when we are studying the soil, when we call it as pedology, okay, there are various characteristics of the soil, okay, which affect the vegetation and which affect the organisms also of that particular area. Okay, these things are like pH, mineral content, water holding capacity. Okay, these things affect the soil texture, quality, and thus the vegetation of that particular area. Now you must have done about the soil profile. Okay, that is the different nature of the different layers of the soil. Okay, if we know that soil is not made up of a single layer, it is actually made up of different layers, and we call those layers as horizons, and each layer is having its own nature or its own sequence, own characteristics and own important functions. Okay, now there are 5 major horizons. Okay, in the lower classes you must have done about them, but the name was not given according to the horizon, but here the names are given according to the horizon. The very first is the O horizon. Why O horizon? Because it is the organic horizon. It is the horizon which is having the organic material, decomposed organic material means the humus. Okay, then is the A horizon. It is the surface horizon and it is present under the littoral zone, and it is called the topsoil. Okay, it is the zone which is containing high quantity of the organic material but mixed with the minerals too. Okay, means it is the topsoil. Topsoil is known as the A horizon. This topsoil or the A horizon can be divided into 3 further regions: A1, A2 and A3. A1 means dark, it is rich in the organic matter. Okay, and it contains the humus as well. Okay, the A2 region is the region which is containing the less humus, and it is called as the zone of the maximum leaching. Okay, it is having less humus. Okay, so this one is having, A1 is having more humus and this one is having the less humus. Then coming to A3 zone, it is just a transition zone where A is going to more likely become B zone. Okay, let's discuss the B horizon. It is the zone where clay is present, minerals are there. Okay, it is poor in aeration, but it is rich in the plant humus and nutrients. So it is here more clay and minerals are present, poor in aeration. Okay, next is the C zone. C horizon is the least weathered horizon, and here magnesium and calcium carbonates are present and it lack the organic matter. Last one is the D horizon. It contains the unweathered soil rocks and we call them as the bed rocks. Okay, the D horizon is the deepest horizon. Okay, if I talk about the OAB horizon, they are together making the top soil, whereas the C horizon make the subsoil. Okay, and the D1 is making the bedrock. Okay, I hope you all are clear with all the abiotic factors. Okay, and about the habitat and the niche. Okay, in the next module we will discuss the response of the organism to different abiotic factors. Thank you all of you.